Hello and welcome to the first edition of LoC Network. My name is Nathan Stubbs and I am your commissioner. Let's take a look at this week's marquee matchup. It took place between the Tom's Tyrants and the Talkbards. Tom's Tyrants entered this game 8-1, while the Talkbards were coming in on a one-game losing streak. The Talkbards were hoping earlier in the season to beat out Tom's Tyrants to the division title, but in recent weeks they haven't looked like doing that. This week would prove a key matchup not only for the shape of the division and the playoff race, but also whether Tom's Tyrants could make playoffs or not this week. Joe Flacco proved to be key for Tom's Tyrants this week. It was a stellar choice of quarterback and he put up 35 points, which gave him a huge edge in the matchup. Tony Gonzalez replied right back for the Talkbards, putting up a 24-point game himself and making it interesting. In the end though, it wasn't even close. Tom's Tyrants completely blew their divisional opponent out of the water, with some great play from Adrian Peterson, Frank Gore, Calvin Johnson, and the DST, the Seattle Seahawks. It'll be interesting to see how the Talkbards react to this loss. They are in a divisional dogfight now, with Forge Flyers and Icknam both on their heels. Tom's Tyrants, however, at 9-1, look certain to make playoffs, and perhaps more. The main problem with the Talkbards has been their play outside of their quarterback, Drew Brees. Drew Brees consistently turns in great performances, but the rest of their team, the same can't be said. Key injuries to Percy Harvin have not helped this situation. However, Tom's Tyrants have had stellar play from their wide receiver and running back for weeks now, and this has led to their late season run of form. If they can keep it up, they've got a great chance of winning. Let's take a look at the other matchups this week. We'll start off with the key divisional matchup between Icknam and the Forge Flyers. Forge Flyers coming in on 4-5, Icknam coming in on 5-4, and the Talkbards coming in on 6-3. It's still all to play for in the Veterans division. But in this one, Forge Flyers secured the win that they needed. This team keeps on winning the must-win games, and they look on a roll at the moment, heading into next week's matchup. Icknam, however, may have to be wary of returning to their early season form. If they can recover the past few weeks, they have a great chance of making playoffs as well. The other key matchup this week was between Bare Necessities and the Dream Team. Bare Necessities needed a win to keep the playoff hopes alive, and the Dream Team needed a win to chase down the division leader. Dream Team got it, as you can see, and Bare Necessities did not put up a respectable total. This has been the case for a few weeks now, and they're about done. The Dream Team, however, look good to make the playoffs for the first time in the team's history. At this point, this game doesn't have much implications on the season. Touchdown Syndrome have all but certainly made playoffs, and Andy Dalton Red Zone can't even mathematically make playoffs now. Touchdown Syndrome came out on top, as you would expect, and Andy Dalton Red Zone continues to put up solid totals, but clearly they are not enough. The last game took place between a Gridiron gang that was looking to avoid relegation and the Detonators, which was just fighting not to be last place. Well, only the Detonators got their wish. The Detonators put up a solid score and managed to lift themselves off the bottom of the pile. Gridiron gang, however, looks certain to be relegated now and are also in last place. Will they suck for Foster? Only time will tell. With all the matchups recapped, let's take a look at how the standings are now. The two division leaders stand at 9-1 and 8-2 respectively, and they should both make playoffs. The Dream Team, currently having the third seed, have a superior point total and also look good to make playoffs. The only feasible divisional spot left is the Talkbards, the Icknam, and the Forge Flyers to fight out. It's anyone's guess who's going to get it, but it's certainly going to be interesting. And now we've got some injury updates for you. Darren McFadden is unlikely to play for the Talkbards, and they really could use him this week as they need to start scoring points. However, their opponent could be having Wes Welker on their lineup. He hasn't practiced since injuring his ankle, but there is a chance that he plays this weekend. Maurice Stone-Joe has already been declared out for touchdown syndrome, but they're very capable without him. Julio Jones, however, is a vital part of Tom's Tyrants team, and he might not play due to an ankle injury suffered last week. Aaron Hernandez has not played for weeks, and Icknam could really use their star tight end back. He had limited practice this week, so there is a chance that he plays. And finally, DeMarco Murray is unlikely to play for Andy Dalton Red Zone this weekend, which is killer because they really, really need their running back back. Now I'll update you with some of the key waiver moves this week. The Dream Team have picked up Greg Jennings, who has been injured for many weeks, but he could make a return in Week 13. This could be key for their team if he does make a comeback. They also dropped Michael Vick, finally cutting the cord on their long-standing quarterback. Vick hasn't been great for the Dream Team this season, and they really haven't needed him because they've had RG3. This is an understandable cut. However, Andy Dalton Red Zone were cut a killer blow this week when Ben Roethlisberger was injured. They were forced to drop him. However, they did pick up Steven Jackson, which could be a nice fill-in the place of the injured DeMarco Murray. The Tuck are having one of the best seasons in their history. Usually they've had the tag of being an average team, consistent but not great. This season they've changed that. In weeks 4 to 5, they combined for over 300 points, and they've also had a 5-win streak this season. They certainly look a lot better. All aspects of their team have been playing well, from the quarterback to the receivers to the tight ends. They have struggled picking running backs, however, with Darren McFadden struggling and Steven Jackson also struggling. In recent weeks they have not played well. They need to get back in the groove so they make sure that they don't fall into this average and consistent team again.
On the phone with Coach Phil Merritt. How are you doing, Coach?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks. Are you pleased with how the Tuckfards are performing this season?
Well, I was pleased. Things have gone a bit downhill for the past 3 weeks. Not looking good this week, but yeah, the team's really come together. Been struggling a bit on running backs, but the wide receivers have done pretty well, and Gonzalez and Breeze have been pretty reliable over the season. Just trying to look for depth, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Your team you say you were good early in the season. Your team pulled off a 5-win streak, and in previous years it's had the tag of that, consistent but not great team. I think last year you were never with more than one win away from a loss, or more than one loss away from a win, if you get me. How did you change that?
Yeah.
How did you change that this year?
I don't think it's something you can change. It's difficult, It's so the NFL fantasy is so up and down. You can have a really good week or a really bad week, but I think just more consistent players, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cruz was really consistent, but especially Breeze and Gonzalez, like I said, really consistent this season. I can bank on 25, 30 points from Breeze.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, running backs haven't contributed as well. But yeah, I think also the points mark as well has been much lower this season. It's been a lot. Last week was averaging 100, and this season it's well below 100, possibly 90.
Yeah, definitely. We've definitely seen a reduction in scoring.
Yeah. So overall, I think I've got a bit of luck over 2 of the games over the 5-win streak, and that luck sort of run out now and on a 2-losing streak. Mm-hmm. But still hopeful for the playoffs this week. A bit big rivalry game between Dream Team. A lot of banter thrown between me and Viv over the week. Anyway, I'm going to be in this week and then off to the playoffs and hopefully get my first win.
Mm-hmm. At 6-4, and you said you were looking worse than you were earlier in the season. Are you worried Tuckfards are slipping back to that old, consistent but not great team?
Well, okay, I wouldn't say we weren't a great team before. I mean, we've made a playoff twice. That's something that a lot of people in this league can't boast. But yeah, I'm a bit worried at the moment. This week is not a great week for buys. I've got 3 of my players at least on buys. Mm-hmm. Fadden's out, and I've got Dwyer on the bench. But I'm hoping I'll get a bit of luck. Stephen Howling starting, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis has got Kansas City, and Breeze has got Oakland. So yeah, I'm hoping for some big things this week.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we'll get us back rolling. I'm not gonna lie, I've been let down by some quarterbacks over the past few weeks, especially Tannehill and Manning, and also who's the Vikings again? Who's the Vikings quarterback?
The Vikings, Christian Ponder.
Yeah, Christian Ponder. He's let me down because he hasn't been given enough points to Harvin, and Harvin's been injured as well. So I've had my fair share of hard luck over the past few weeks.
You've had a lot of trouble with the running backs, like you said, and it wasn't a good situation earlier, and it's just got worse. McFadden's still out. You've got Dwyer, but Mendenhall's coming back, and Big Ben went down as well, so that's who knows what's going to happen there. You're starting Green, Ellis, and Stevens Howling this week. Do you think your team can overcome it at this crucial time?
Well, it depends, because Stephen Howland's been a bit inconsistent this week, but I picked him up because he was a starter. And possibly Atlanta, the defense hasn't been amazing this season. Its offense has been pretty good, and I think in this league you have to start starters. So Dwyer is always a risk, especially with whatever his face is coming back. McFadden, if I'm going to be honest, I think it was my second round pick this season. Hasn't been consistent. So I think what's compiled is that I dropped Steven Jackson a few weeks ago. He came off his bye week and then went for over 100 yards and a touchdown, and he hasn't done that all season. So
that was a bit
like I said, hard luck.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got the dream team this week, but like you said, bad backs. 2 of your receivers on a bye. You still think you can win it? It's not looking good. Yeah,
definitely. All I'm going to say is I'm going to make Viv look like what's it called? They're not going to be the dream team. They're going to be I had a dream team, right? That's how much we can beat them this week. I'm still confident. And yeah, we're going to win.
Okay. You're at 6-4 at the moment. Iknan are at 5-5. Ford Flyers also at 5-5. Do you think you can beat them out for a playoff spot?
Well, that's a difficult question.
You've got Iknan next week, I believe, as well.
Yeah, these 2 weeks are really important. But I know nothing about NFL. I've got Tom Tyrans this week, so that's a tough matchup. I'm also looking out for Bare Necessity. They got Daltons this week, so they're going to come back in the hunt, possibly. But of course, the main concern is Dream Team, and I'm still projected to win this week, just by 10 points, despite Heartline being a bum. So I'm, like I said, pole position at the moment, still confident. I'm just looking to get back into that 3rd place and try and hunt down touchdown syndrome.
Yeah. If you had to pick a team out of the many, many playoff hopefuls at the moment, who do you think has the best chance to win the LoC Bowl this year, besides yourself?
Well, it's not you, Nate.
You'll see. You'll see.
2-8, you're last.
Biding my time.
It's going to be Tom's. I mean, they've got all the good luck this season, but they've got a good team as well. So
there is that trend, though, that the previous year's winner has never ever won it the next year. They've always been the runners-up.
Yeah, but he's 9-1, and I don't see him getting beaten by I know nothing about NFL, just by him having Manning and Thorpe and that bloody rookie Martin as well. He got him like 60 points the other day or whatever.
Yep, he was playing. Yep.
Yeah, I just see if Johnson comes out, Jones comes out. He's got Palmer, who's been quite good over the past few weeks, and he's got New Orleans this week. I don't see him being caught. But then again, playoffs. We saw last week with Chris, ridiculously unpredictable, and he lost, and Tom won. So I think Tom will win, but it depends really.
Have you got any big plans in the off season for what you're going to do with your team next year?
Mate, you know I never have any plans, right? I planned like 5 minutes before. That's what I did at the last draft. No, I obviously first move is to get the big quarterback. And then it's kind of hard because the last second round picks I've made haven't been great. Apart from Jones-Drew was last season, he was a great second pick. But other than that, I haven't made very good second picks. So it's really the second pick is crucial next year. Last few seasons, I picked running backs. This season, I think I picked, was it Cruz I picked second round?
Third or fourth, I think.
Oh no, it's not Fadden this year. I chose second.
Yeah.
He hasn't been great. And this season, it's been a bit different because I've gone for the running backs. So I've gone for the wide receivers more than the running backs. So it's just strategy in terms of my second, third, fourth, and fifth picks. Which one to pick at what point. I also think defense as well is going to be a lot more important. I always justify I got the 49ers early in this draft.
Definitely.
And there's going to be higher picks next year for the defense.
Yeah, I think the change in points really showed how much value a DST can have this year.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So defense will come early. Not sure how I'm going to be depth-wise. I don't really plan it, but yeah, expect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the time, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
No worries, you too. I hope you actually win one.
Me
It's been
too.
too long.
Me too. All right.
All right, mate. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Now let's take a quick look at the next week's matchups. The biggest matchup this week is definitely the Tuck Buds taking on the Dream Team. This will not only decide seeding, but could potentially affect the playoff hopes of one of the teams. The other two matchups that have some key aspects this week are Gridiron Gang vs Forge Flyers. Also, Tom's Tyrants vs Ignan could prove interesting, as if Ignan can pull off a win, this will make the last few weeks in the Veterans Division very interesting indeed. Let's see who was last week's Saviour and Failure of the week. This week's Saviour is Matt Ryan for the Detonators. Matt Ryan had a great game for the Detonators. He put up over 32 points and led the team to a 7-point victory over Gridiron Gang. He is this week's Saviour of the week. This week's Failure of the week, we look no further than to their opponent Gridiron Gang of Reggie Bush. I can't pin this all on Reggie. He was actually having a good game up until a fumble, and then when the coach decided to bench him. The coach shouldn't have benched him, however, because this led to their team only getting 3 points, and this led to Gridiron Gang losing by only a mere total of 7. I hope you've enjoyed the premiere episode of LoC Network. See you next week.